map, Polar Knight. Well, we just talked about it, right?
Yep.
TBT.
Same thing as we said before. I think we both still share the same thoughts.
You think it's very Terran favored? Do you think it's
Not
Terran
that
favored?
bad. I mean, I'd rather play on Polar Knight than Bowsher Vestige.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit Terran favored.
Do you think Belshir Vestige is much better just going like Roach Bane into something else? Like, I feel like Roach Bane makes the most sense on Belshir Vestige.
Yeah, you just have to be careful though, because if someone thinks you're going to do that, it's pretty easy to counter.
No, I'm not saying all in, just like standard macro play.
Maybe.
Instead of doing the conventional like, Zergling Bane Link, because I feel like Belshir Vestige, if you are not in the right position at all times with Zergling Bane Link meta, you're going to die. Or at least Roach, you can kind of bullet. You know, you can just rely on your raw power.
I think you should just mix it up between a couple of cheeses, some mid-game Roachling Bane Link stuff, maybe do a 3-base, just middling Bane Link timing on like 1-1, pretty much all in. Just do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You have to change it up a little bit so Terrans just can't mind game you too hard, but...
Okay, guys, the game is ready. We'll find out if there's any Roach Bane shenanigans here. Polar Knight will be our first map. Liquid Taeja versus Evil Genius Revival. Let's get into it. Top middle position is the blue Zerg. It is our good friend Evil Genius's Revival. We said it once, we said it again. Happy Halloween. And also, Revival needs this win. Moves on into Premier League. He will be at BlizzCon. He'll be tied for 16th place, though.
And it's pretty crazy. If Revival had done a little bit better in the bracket stage, he would have actually passed Naniwa by about 25 points, I think. Because if he makes it out of this group, he'll make 25 points for Challenger League this season. Won't he? I think so. Because I know Naniwa made it through the bracket stage of Challenger League Europe and got 100 points. And I believe Revival is going to get 25 if he makes it through this group. So, kind of fortunate for Naniwa that Revival did drop to the group stage. And Revival is probably wishing he did a little bit better in the bracket stage right now.
Yeah. Well, his opponent, spawning in the bottom middle position, is the Red Terran. It is Liquid Taeja, the famous Evil Geniuses versus Liquid rivalry will be here once again. Now, Taeja is not just fighting for a premier spot, he's fighting for a little bit more cash. Naniwa has outwardly said $500 to anybody that beats Revival. That's a lot of money, man. What would you do with $500?
That's a good question.
You're supposed to say something very PR, like, I would invest it into another tournament where I would cap. That's part of being a caster.
I would put it all into gold.
Gold. Diversifying your portfolio. I can get down with that, Mike. I can get down with that. Taeja starting out with a command center first, a little bit greedy on the low ground. Will be going over to that barracks and refinery directly after that. On the other side, we have Revival not throwing down a gas just yet. Going for that 17 pool, 17 gas. Everything looks pretty standard, very macro-oriented from these two players. Overlord positionings. Here's the one thing about Polar Knights. Overlord positionings are terrible. Holy moly. Like, where do you put Overlords on this map, Mike?
Well, you can kind of slip one past the Terran base. Kind of have it in that kind of choke point, or not choke point, but this area down here. Yep, you can put one over there. Keep an eye on the gas. Maybe poke around a little bit.
One gas. It's like sick life. I feel like the Pulp build is so good on this map, where you just get a single Viking in the beating stage, followed up with some mid-game aggression, go
Pulp
very
build's,
unit light.
Pulp build's good in every map.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do we get? Does it just default lose, though, to a lot of Roach Baneling all-ins, or just Roach all-ins? It feels like it does, Mike.
Maybe. It kind of feels like it does, but I mean, no one
He's on one barracks until like 10 minutes.
Yeah, he's on 1 to 2 barracks production, usually until at least 10.5 or 11 minutes in the game. So it can make it difficult to defend timing attacks like we saw from Revival last game with that mass roaches. Yeah.
I want to see how willing Pult is to go over to siege tanks once he sees some sort of shenanigan like that.
I think it's actually pretty common nowadays in the Korean metagame on the Korean server to go tanks if you see roaches.
Oh yeah, I think tanks they're definitely the hard counter, but it leaves you just so frustrated in the mid-game stages, right? Like, you don't know what to do with your tank. Do you attack? Do you defend? You just get your third base. It slows down some of your stim timings or your +1/1 timings, whatever that opportunity cost would have been, because remember, it's 25 gas, it's 125 gas for the siege tank. I was saying 25 gas for the tech lab. So that's a lot of investment that you're putting into a unit that you're just looking to defend with. You can't really do a lot of aggression.
And I feel like production time is actually Terran's biggest resource in StarCraft 2.
Interesting.
You usually have the minerals and gas, or you can acquire them to do whatever you want. But it's just the production time, the time it takes to create all the structures they need to produce units, and the time it takes to build those units. And I think that's what's most important for Terran, and it just delays all of that if you're making tanks before you go into bioplay.
It's a really cool way to look at it, honestly. I never really looked at it that way, and I would agree with you because, let's be honest, like it takes a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes to really materialize a good production of Terran units.
Before Terran can actually get a force, you kind of have to get that infrastructure built.
Yeah.
You have to get this add-ons built on all the barracks, you have to make the barracks, you have to get the eBays, and then you can only start producing your units. So it all takes a lot of time, and you're just delaying all of that if you go siege tanks first.
I agree. Taeja going to be caught with his pants down right now. A second bunker on the way. I don't know how he actually saw this, but I love what's going on so far. Now, this bunker in the front here, Ghost, you taught me, this is the biggest liability you could possibly have.
Yeah, this bunker, it's going to go down. Even if he puts SCVs on it to repair, you can see Revival can just target them down 2 or 3 at a time. It only takes 3 roaches to kill one SCV, so you can just split them in half, start one-shotting 2 SCVs at once, and you can break through the bunker easily.
Yep. And he's even going to take down the second bunker. This is a very important bunker to have, but now he retargets some of the SCVs, Hellions, and a Banshee going to save the day, but a lot of economic damage has been done already. We're going to find out what the extent of that is. Will he be able to take out the bunker? No, it looks like not.
He did get another SCV, though.
A good defense overall, but let's find out. Workers killed 15. Really well done by Revival, but was it worth it? 11 roaches for 15 SCVs?
I think it was in this case, just because Taeja has only had 2 command centers right now. And if you only have the 2 command centers, it'll take him longer to get those SCVs rebuilt. And I think in this position, we see Revival as he's making spore crawlers. If he can defend against these Hellions without taking any significant damage, I think he'll be in a pretty good position.
Yeah. Look at that, 47 harvesters to 29. That is incredible. So it looks like it is. I mean, it's just the fact that he needs to defend, as you said, defend this upcoming timing for Taeja to kind of force the equality, right? Like he needs to get a lot of drone kills or maybe kill a lot of roaches, kill a lot of queens, but I love the overmass of spore crawlers. Just getting that extra one helps out so much.
He's so smart. You need to get that spore crawler at the front of the hatchery to your natural. That's something you can't actually skip. Because once Terran gets 2 to 3 Banshees and about 8 Hellions, they can just push through, and if you only have queens, they can target down 2 to 3 queens so easily with like 2 to 3 Banshees and some Hellions.
Taeja, misstep, losing one of the Banshees. That's so important, actually, that you mentioned that. Because a lot of people just forget. They think Banshees are the finesse unit, right? They get in there, kill a couple of drones, able to cloak away, and they're good to go.
I actually died twice in the past 2 days to an attack like that. I had 4 queens, and they were in Hellion Banshee, and they just walked up my front door.
That's so frustrating.
My queens died to the Hellions and the Banshees, and then I lost the game.
Yeah. Not many people think of, you know, those Banshees being the power unit. They're very fragile, but as you said, they kill stuff very, very fast. Hellions darting into the natural. It will be fended off pretty easily as roaches are there, and queens. And additional attacks over at this third base. Great creep spread over here with the Overlord helping the defense. There is an Overseer, and a second Banshee will go down. Beautiful pickoff so far. Man, oh man, Revival is just getting further and further ahead. Now gets in here to scout out, sees what's going on, sees the third orbital command center. If he didn't see that, he would probably assume some sort of timing would exist, some sort of killing timing, I should say, where he has to go 2 base all in. But right now, he knows it's just going to be 2 base pressure with a 3rd base behind this.
Yep, and I think Revival is setting himself up to be able to defend against this. These Banshees from Taeja didn't accomplish too much. He bought 3 Banshees and he got Cloak. Didn't kill too much, I don't believe. I don't know if he killed any workers. He got 8 worker kills this game. I'm not sure. I don't think all those were the Banshees, though.
It's not too bad, but still. Marines and Marauders in the front with Medivacs. There is a mobility problem so far. I mean, Mutas are on the way out right now, but it's just slow roaches, Zerglings, and slow Banelings. So this is a position where it might get a little bit #dicey.
Could get a little bit dicey. Not too many Widow Mines out now, though, and I think he can defend against this. He has some roaches, too. Those help out a lot against the Hellions and against small counts of bio as well.
Okay, the Banelings are popping out here. Widow Mines have already used their charges. looks like he will be fine. Banshee gets picked off. Pretty seamless defense here by our Zerg player.
And Taeja kind of losing some of his units here as well. I think this was an incredibly good trade for Revival.
Yep, I do too. Second round of units coming in here, but there is no Widow Mine on the ground. Units tab, let's take a look. Yeah, 0 Widow Mines out on the field. So this is a big problem. Taeja needs them to be able to be aggressive here. Revival still doesn't have good creep spread, so he needs to work on that right now, and he is. Creep tumors are being planted. And now I believe Taeja is on the back foot. He's the one that needs to be so careful because his economy has been so poor all game long. That's really the end. This is going to be the turning point. As you can see, I mean, it's been at 60 Harvesters for a very long time here.
He is, and if Revival wants to put in some aggression, this third base could be in kind of jeopardy, I guess. He only has 2 Widow Mines out there to defend his third base right now, and that's not enough to stop any committed attack from his Zerg, but this medevac drop is doing a lot in his main base.
Single medevac drop, too. Normally, you won't see single medevac drops. It's double, but I think MMA is really popularizing this style. But it will get cleaned up pretty easily still. You can see the advantages that Taeja is taking, especially with this map. Expanding over here to the mid-right-hand position can be quite troublesome. It spreads you out a lot, so Taeja able to buy a couple of valuable minutes just to amass the army he needs. But as it stands, 122 supply to 120 supply. Army tab showing it to be very similar as well, 55 to 54.
It's about as comfortable position as you can be in mid-game ZVT. Upgrades, Revival is maybe slightly ahead, if not equal. He's at least equal to Taeja in upgrades. And in terms of army and economy, he's in a pretty good position as well. So I'd like if he would take his 4th base pretty soon. Maybe throw it down now. It looks like he is going to go kill his Rax and take that back expansion for his 4th. But I think he's in a very good position now.
I do too. I think he's slightly ahead. It's not super far ahead just yet, but
Nope,
I think
it's just a nice comfortable position
yeah.
now. And I mean, he has all the tech and units he needs for the mid game, and he's actually starting to tech towards that hive that you like.
I do. Infestation pit on the way. I think the hive should be used just for the upgrades to begin with, the 3-3, and then from there just really feel it out. Still stick on Zerg Baling Muta,
Yeah.
and then eventually tech to hive, but just make sure there's no 3-3 timing for the Terran player. But things are still up in the air. I mean, anything can happen. 4th base being taken in the top right-hand position. I love that position for Zerg. A 4th command center going down now for Liquid Taeja. He is starting to advance on, but this is a hard place to advance on.
Yeah, and I like how active Revival.
Some good trades overall for the Zerg player, I would say.
Yeah, pretty good trades for him. And I just like how Revival was defending out here instead of defending at his actual expansion.
Yes, yes. Space is probably one of the most important resources when you go into these attacks. Zerg want more space when they're... Well, actually, both players want more space when they're defending against something. Revival might motion around the map to try to go for a counterattack, but no, he's going to pull back as it stands because there's a drop incoming in the main base. This will get taken out pretty easily as the mutas are right around the corner.
Yep, and in the meantime, however, Taeja has moved out and cleared a lot of the creep from
Beautiful.
which is exactly what he needs to do. So I'd say that medevac drop is worth it, even though it didn't do any damage.
I mean, this is the damage that's done. The queen being taken out, that's very important because that queen was supposed to replace a lot of the creep. And now Taeja might be caught, okay, off guard. Still, you don't have the drilling claw just yet for those Widow Mines, so there's a brief moment where Zerglings and Banelings can overwhelm the Terran player. 194 supply now for Taeja to only 165 supply. Where is everything for a Zerg player?
Well, I guess he's still producing some units. I don't think this is that bad of a situation for Revival as long as he is careful with his trades. So you don't want to be trading cost inefficiently at this point as a Zerg player. You want to at least try to stay even in your trades until the Terran's 3rd level of upgrades kick in.
Yeah, I agree. Now pushing in here, Widow Mines might get taken out immediately. Great connection so far. You can see the Widow Mine shots are all used up. Oh, the Banelings, will they be microed in time? Taeja, a little bit slow to that, gets a good trade. 4th at Command Center gets taken out at the same time. Top right-hand position, Marines trying to gun down this single hatchery. Will they get it in time? 70-50, and no, they will not. So Taeja taking some worse trades in that engagement so far, and you can see Ultra Cavern on the way too.
In terms of army, he traded fairly well, but it was just losing all his Widow Mines and losing that Command Center towards him so much. Because the Widow Mines, it takes a long time to rebuild that many Widow Mines.
Yeah.
And his 4th command center is also going to take a couple minutes before that's done.
The one thing Taeja has going for him, if anything, is going to be that creep spread into the 3rd base. That's definitely a target that he can easily take. Oh, Thor's double shot, but they don't have that +2 upgrade. With the +2 upgrade, they're able to one-shot all the Mutalisks.
Oh, and a medevac drop heading for Taeja, or for Revival's exposed 4th base.
Should get shut down here as Zerglings and Banelings are on the field now, going for the natural base. Spore Crawler here to receive that as best as possible, trying to kill some Banelings, but now simming and killing drones. In the meantime, Mutas did engage in the middle left-hand side. They had to be so careful. A lot of drones going down here. Revival not reacting to this. Now another drop into the main base. There's nothing here. Ultralisk Cavern is naked. You need to be so careful.
Not enough mutas to engage these groups of medevac drops on their own either. You need the Lings and Banelings there. But Revival, he now is adding into Ultras. So, although he took some economic damage, it's not something that he can't replace. He's rebuilding 7 drones right now. And at this stage of the game, a couple drones isn't that expensive.
Yeah, that's true. It actually frees up a little bit of room for this upcoming stage. 169 supply, though, to 197 maxed out army. Let's look at the army supply. 106 to 134 advantage for the Terran player. Thor is going to mosey its way on in here. Here's the big push in. Widow Mines still don't have that upgrade. It slows them down a little bit here. Ultralisks are going in first. Wow, great connection so far on those Banelings. And that is the crushing blow. Taeja going to push forward into the 3rd base, and it will go down. Again, another round. It looks like Revival will not have the means to defend against this push. I mean, there's just way too much here after the math. There it is, GG.
Just a horrible engagement there at the end by Revival.
Really unfortunate.
If you notice, he had all of his Banelings on whole position when the first 2 to 3
Yeah.
Ultras just went in and died. And then the Banelings